Are we living in a simulation? Greetings, my brothers and sisters. Today I would like to answer the question on are we living in a simulation? Many of you who have listened to my previous messages will know by now that most of the time, with my reasoning, there is no straightforward yes, no answer. And the same applies to this question on, are we living in a simulation? Yes, you do live in a simulation. And no, not in the model that has been presented to you by science. You are not a piece of code locked into a large and complex computer system configured by a games master with no free will to change your circumstance in the simulation. No, the divine is not a trickster. The divine is not a games master. There is no games master. You have a soul, you have life, and therefore you have feelings. You are not a piece of code that lives in the simulation model that is presented to you. Science has actually created a problem to solve that does not exist. It is, of course, the work of darkness, which instills more distraction, and for some people, fear or depression. And it is also designed to take you further away from who you are in reality. To understand what it means to live in a simulation, we must take a look at the word simulation itself. Remember, words have power. They have an energy of their own. And so it comes as no surprise to us that the word simulation is the chosen word to describe the non-existent problem. Let us look at the word simulation. It has a Latin root, simulare. This word is much familiar to you, as it is also the root of your modern word similar. Indeed, simulare or similar can be expressed also as imitate, copy, likeness, all of these and more. But imitate what exactly? Reality, of course. The simulation that you live in is not reality, as we in the higher realms experience with all its wonder. This reality you live in is indeed a copy, a likeness, an imitation of the reality of the higher vibrations, and therefore an inversion of reality. We have spoken many times before about the inverted world. Well, the inverted world is the simulation. I repeat, a likeness, a copy, an imitation to reality in the real sense of the word. It is that simple. Your understanding of reality is held to a very small bandwidth of information in order that you can be controlled, directed, and manipulated into certain beliefs and thought patterns that take you away from who you are in reality, rendering you a poor representation of your true self. Since the simulation has made you become separate from your higher self and the divine, we could therefore say that earthly you is an imitation or a simulation of your true or higher self. That is, until you raise your vibration and become one with all that was, is, and will be, the true self, fully synchronized with the divine. Like a horse wearing her bardings, she can only see straight ahead. That is her total perception of life. That is her reality. She remains totally unaware of the surroundings outside of those bardings. For her, this reality is a tiny bandwidth of what is available. Sadly, it is, of course, as simulation, an inversion of the full bandwidth of information available to her once the bardings are removed. Then she sees the reality of her world as far as the eye can see. So how is the earth plane a copy of reality? Well, we can liken it to this. Everything that you have on the earth plane, we have, but because of the inversion, it is now a copy with vital elements removed by the darkness that took over humanity and Mother Earth many moons ago. We can liken it to this example. You would like to buy the most expensive, luxurious automobile, but you do not have sufficient funds. So, you purchase a plastic version of that car that you assemble yourself, which will look like and feel like the original, or the reality car that your heart was set on. But it is not the automobile you wanted. It is a simple copy, without the vital elements of performance and quality of material. This copy may look the same and feel to a certain extent the same, but it is, after all, an imitation of reality of the automobile your heart desired. So, my brothers and sisters, be the best of yourself that you can be in any one moment, because the 3D world is in collapse right now, and all of its simulated structures. The foundations for 5D on Earth have been set, and soon, for many of you in your lifetime, will witness the end of the simulation. But this we should leave for another discussion. But as always with the divine, free will is paramount, and for those who wish to continue in the simulation, or what is left available to them, will be freely allowed to do so, until such time as this duality will cease to exist. All is well. You are loved. I am Jeanne.